Have you ever met someone who is always suspiciously sick? I'm talking 24/7 ill. Someone who is so committed to gaining attention and sympathy that they would go to extreme lengths to create the appearance of being sick. Perhaps even faking illness, injuring themselves, or undergoing unnecessary medical procedures. What if this behavior wasn't simply a cry for help or a calculated attempt to deceive? What if it were driven by something much deeper, something that twisted the very nature of their relationship with reality? This is the world of Munchausen syndrome, a rare and baffling psychological disorder that raises unsettling questions about the lengths some individuals will go to in order to fulfill a deep, unspoken need for care and recognition. But what drives someone to fabricate illness or injury with such persistence? The answers may be more complex and more disturbing than you could ever imagine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Masterpiece. Today, we're diving into factitious disorder, known as Munchausen syndrome. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or this is your first time here, I'm thrilled to have you join me. In this video, we'll be exploring its characteristics. Factitious disorder is a rare but profoundly complex mental health condition in which an individual deliberately deceives others by feigning illness, intentionally causing injury, or even manipulating medical tests to simulate health problems. This disorder not only affects the individual but can also extend to those around them. In some cases, caregivers or family members may falsely present others, such as children, as being ill or injured, known as factitious disorder imposed on another previously called Munchausen syndrome by proxy. This broader pattern of deception can create devastating consequences, both for the person with the disorder and for the innocent individuals caught in the web of manipulation. The symptoms of factitious disorder can vary significantly in severity. At one end of the spectrum, there may be only a slight exaggeration of symptoms that are subtle enough to go unnoticed by most people. At the other end, however, the disorder can manifest in more extreme ways, with individuals actively causing harm to themselves or even undergoing dangerous, high-risk medical procedures. The term Munchausen syndrome, historically used to describe these more severe forms of the disorder, highlights the lengths some individuals will go to in order to gain attention, sympathy, or care. These individuals may fabricate symptoms or tamper with medical equipment or test results to reinforce the illusion of illness, convincing doctors and loved ones that their condition is real and in need of urgent intervention. What makes factitious disorder particularly difficult to distinguish from other types of deceptive behavior is its intrinsic motivation. Unlike people who might fabricate medical problems for more practical reasons, such as avoiding work, gaining financial benefits, or securing a legal advantage, individuals with factitious disorders do so primarily for psychological reasons. This lack of self-awareness is one of the key challenges in diagnosing factitious disorder. The line between genuine illness and fabricated illness can be incredibly difficult to draw, especially because the person with the disorder often goes to great lengths to maintain the illusion of their symptoms. Doctors and family members may be misled into thinking they're dealing with a legitimate medical condition, as the symptoms are often consistent with real diseases. However, as the disorder is not about seeking tangible benefits, it's rooted in an internal psychological conflict that can be elusive and tricky to pinpoint. Let's dig deeper into one of our examples. The world-renowned rapper EMINEM, whose music often explores personal pain and trauma, has openly shared a harrowing part of his childhood that many might not expect. He was a victim of medical abuse at the hands of his own mother. This revelation came to light most notably in his song "Cleanin' Out My Closet," where Eminem exposed the emotional and psychological scars left by his mother, Debbie Mathers. According to his account, his mother frequently subjected him to unnecessary doctor's visits, hospitalizations, and a constant barrage of medical tests, convincing him that he was ill. As a child, Eminem believed what he was told by his mother, that he was genuinely sick. Debbie's actions fit the pattern of what is known as factitious disorder imposed on another, previously called Munchausen syndrome by proxy. In these situations, a caregiver intentionally fabricates or induces illness in a person, often a child, in order to gain attention or sympathy. For EMINEM, this meant being thrust into medical environments where he was treated for conditions that didn't exist, enduring tests and treatments based solely on his mother's manipulations. In his lyrics, EMINEM details how this abuse affected him psychologically, embedding the idea in his young mind that he was always sick or fragile. He describes the emotional toll this had on him, as his mother's actions instilled a sense of helplessness and confusion. He was made to feel that his body was constantly failing him, that there was something inherently wrong with him. The trauma of being in and out of hospitals, coupled with the emotional manipulation from his mother, deeply affected his sense of identity and self-worth. But as he grew older, EMINEM began to question the narrative that had been imposed on him. It was a slow realization, but eventually he understood that the problem wasn't with him, it was with his mother. He came to the painful conclusion that his mother had been fabricating his illnesses all along. Moving on to the next example, where a movie has painted this illness perfectly, and how someone can manipulate and affect another's mind into thinking they are sick, or by all means making them sick, just to reach the maximum feeling and assurance of gaining attention or sympathy. Run has been one of the disturbing psychological thriller movies to adapt such a story. It all starts with the daughter who is in a wheelchair, diabetic, and suffers from multiple issues waiting for her college letter. However, she won't be able to, as she has discovered serious problems with her mother poisoning her since birth and making her sick. The only motive the mother wanted was her own sympathy and satisfaction from others. And last but not least, a real-life case where a One Direction fan manipulated one of the members into thinking she was ill. Megan Barry and her mother Jean, the Cinderella Ball was more than just a glamorous fundraising event. It was an opportunity to continue building the profile of their rapidly expanding charity, Believe in Magic. Over 2 years, the organization had made waves by granting wishes to seriously ill children, providing them with everything from extravagant parties to dream vacations like trips to Disneyland. Guests at the event, including high-profile figures such as One Direction's Louis Tomlinson, were well aware of Megan's supposed battle with a brain tumor. She was only 20 years old, and her health struggles had been well publicized. However, as the glitz and glamour of the event continued, a much darker and more insidious truth was unfolding behind the scenes. Megan's supposed battle with a brain tumor, it turned out, was entirely fabricated. The diagnosis, the treatments, and the endless hospital visits were all part of an elaborate deception engineered by Megan and, more disturbingly, by her mother, Jean. They had both played a central role in convincing the public, their donors, and the medical community that Megan was gravely ill, all in the service of securing donations and raising funds for their charity. This deception is the perfect textbook example in which individuals deliberately falsify symptoms or illnesses to gain attention and sympathy. As a result, diagnosing factitious disorder often requires careful observation, extensive medical testing, and sometimes the collaboration of multiple healthcare providers across disciplines to piece together the full picture. Treatment for factitious disorder is notoriously difficult. Because those suffering from the disorder often do not seek help on their own, intervention typically occurs only after the disorder has caused significant physical harm or damage. For many individuals, the deception becomes so deeply ingrained that they may resist any attempt to confront or address the issue. Medical and psychiatric help is crucial, however, to prevent further harm and to address the underlying psychological distress that drives the disorder. The potential consequences of untreated factitious disorder are severe, including the risk of death or permanent injury from unnecessary medical procedures or self-inflicted harm. Therapy, including cognitive behavioral techniques, can be helpful in addressing some of the emotional needs that fuel the behavior, though success is often gradual and requires patience. And there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay updated. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover next, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.